Commissioners, your meeting is live.
Good morning. Welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Raleigh County Commissioners. Please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There it is. You might have public comment.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm here on behalf of the REACH Committee to present the Employee of the Month for October. This person was nominated. This was what the nomination said. He went above and beyond his duties while flagging on McDowell Creek Road by possibly saving a person's life when she pulled up to him and her car was leaking gas very badly. He got her off the road and out of the car safely. By doing so, he prevented what could have been a very bad situation. The woman stopped and told me that he saved her life. And the recipient is William Bright from Public Works. And you will get a movie ticket via email. So you can go enjoy a movie along with it. And there's your Slack.
What did I do? One, two, three. Congratulations. Commissioners, that's all. Right in front of We're gonna stand right in front of the front.
Congratulations, buddy.
All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We have some parts.
Congratulations. Good job.
For
that movie.
Yeah.
Any other public comment? Well, Commissioners.
Well, as for me, I don't really have a lot this morning, actually. Pretty peaceful and quiet. Watched a lot of football. Actually listened to the Manhattan High game for the first time in a long time on radio, which brings back memories. They beat number 2 in 5A Hayes 10-8, almost like a baseball score. So watched some college football on Saturday. It was kind of nice not to have to worry about winning and losing there. And then Jaguars picked up win number 2, 17-10. So yeah. And I think I might win both of my fantasy leagues this week too. So football gods, hey, anyway. With the materials and everything, got myself ready and prepared for the rest of the weekend. That's about all I got.
Okay. Thursday afternoon, I attended the city county meeting at Manhattan City Hall. We were joined by the Potawatomi County Commission. I believe most of them are there. Presentations were made on a 2022 housing study by Stephanie Pearson. The community land trust by Josh Brewer, and the Manhattan City update by Danielle Dunn of the city of Manhattan. Wasn't much discussion by the entities as the 3 presentations took up most of the time available, but there was some discussion. I really don't recall us asking them to do the housing study again, but did we do that, the 2022 housing?
No, I had issues with the housing study, I didn't necessarily, but I will do the presentations one by one, and I've heard all of them. I mean,
Yeah, I was kind of.
Much was gonna- too much was gonna change. I just think that that's maybe a little outdated. I mean, they did it right. They did it right the first time around. There was nothing wrong with it, but I think we just kind of grown away from it, and either it needs to be kind of updated with maybe a more regional type approach at this point in time,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. So that
Well,
that
they
that was my
thought we
concern.
wanted to hear the 22 housing, the whole thing. So that's why I was kind of wondering. So, anyway, then Friday, I took a ride up to my vet's to get some medications for my dog and then went through the bypass on the roundabout on Highway 24. Well, I didn't go through the bypass. I don't think it, but I went, I got up on the bridge there and it's easy to navigate but out there, but I can say where it's really challenging when it's traffic. So it's kind of, you have to kind of really pay attention. So Saturday afternoon, I attended a Democratic meeting and fundraiser at the Refall Pavilion in City Park. Candidates for governor, Kansas Attorney General, U.S. Senate, U.S. House of Representatives had presentations. Keynote speaker was the mayor of Omaha, newly elected this year, John Ewing Jr., who gave a really good presentation. It's good to hear that. So let's see, Sunday afternoon, I reviewed the agenda and documents for today's meeting and did some housekeeping. And also over the weekend, I did some planting and some yard work. So it's a nice weekend. That's it for me.
Well, as Rich mentioned, Thursday, we had the county meeting, and we did have Potawatomi County, I think all but one of them there this time. City presented their housing market study. It only covers new construction and not all available housing available. It ignores the fact that there are other houses in there, which I thought they were shortage of houses without mentioning the fact that there are existing homes. And then they reviewed two RHID scenarios, which said justified higher priced housing because the tax payoff is quicker. Then Josh Brewer gave a unique presentation on community land trusts. This has been tried on a small scale and in Ogden, and it seems to be a really nice option. I think it's good. And after the meeting, I had a long discussion with Josh about some of the other projects that they're looking at. So other than that, I had some emails to answer over the weekend, but that's all I've got.
First business commissioners. First item I have is the motion to approve signing the 2025 EMPG application.
Well, I would make a motion to approve signing the 2025 EMPG application, which is Valley County Emergency Management.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve signing the 2025 EMPG application. All in favor?
Aye. Chair, please sign.
Stamp.
Yeah. I'm gonna look into that. A stamp.
The other signature on there is
You
stamp.
don't need posting on this.
Postage.
Next, commissioners, the motion to approve bid submitted by NF Construction of Marion, Kansas, in the amount of $592,140.
I make a motion to approve the bid submitted by NF Construction of Marion, Kansas for $592,140.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the bid for the transfer station work submitted by NF Construction for $592,140. All in favor?
Any changes to the minutes?
They can have it.
I had a question,
Sure.
because I know they don't show up here, the minutes aren't. In the last meeting aren't on here.
Well,
But, and I know we get a separate email from it, but in the public access, there aren't any way for the public to access those minutes, are there?
After they're approved, yeah.
Where?
Up on the website, should be. You gotta double check.
Really? Okay, well, I was looking, something's gone on, but I couldn't find it, maybe that was.
So one question is two minutes, one for the old system, one for the new system.
Uh,
I have seen the minutes on that.
Go to the old
So you put
system.
on the website, it says minutes before this date, minutes after this date, and you should be able to.
We'll double check.
Okay, well,
We'll double check.
couldn't
Let it get.
maybe I just need to learn how to find it,
Yeah,
because I couldn't find them.
It's a new.
Yeah,
For all of
it's-
it.
right.
Sure.
Too many meetings.
well, I finally got locked in.
Yeah, it's just, I'm looking on the website right now, so if you go on to, you click one of the recent meetings that was done where the minutes were approved, you click on it, it'll show in that left-hand corner, it'll say agenda, the agenda packet, and it'll say minutes.
Oh, a separate tab?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how.
I did notice that too. There's like, you go there and I pulled it up and thought it was in the packet and all it came up was the agenda. But I was like, what? And there's another tab below there. So it's,
Yeah.
It's not gonna, unlike the previous, the system, you don't have a separate, like,
It's not within
yeah.
no, it's
on
within the agenda.
All right, yeah, you have to click it in and then it'll show you the minutes.
So is the public able to click in that thing?
but access is where he just asked if we can go through it. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be kind of tough for people to access. We'll go through all the steps.
Just so you know, some of the oddities of this program, staff has met with them, see what they can do to make some issues a little easier and for everyone, user friendly.
Okay.
You change the minutes, commissioners?
I didn't have any, no. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the September 18th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second that.
Move second to approve the minutes of the September 18th meeting, all in favor?
That's an agenda for commissioners.
Good.
Any items for next week's press conference? Not yet, Mr. Isaac at 9 o'clock. Come on, Bob.
The city council meeting, we host that since we were over there.
Well, Rob,
Rich already was
good. I think there's a table.
Go back behind the wall over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one of
Not that
them.
I'm aware of.
All right.
This fall, there's one in my office.
Did you see that Eagles game?
Yes. There's a couple really good games yesterday. Last second field goals.
And block.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the weird consolidation.
I didn't know. Found her.
Absolutely.
Well, one guy had a fumble recovery for a touchdown and he's actually returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, he goes to
Sometimes I forget.
We get up to here, your ball and voice.
Yeah, I'm not digging into either.
Find a minute. No.
But I think you have to make sure, Greg, on this, you let us, there's just like.
First day. Yeah, it's a train. If it's weird, it's down Missouri.
It takes two devices to use one now.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep, so that one, since that's for today, our minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it needs to be on a date that the minutes have already been approved. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be up yet until, but if you go back another to where you approved them last week on the commission meeting before, it'll show.
No, okay.
Yeah, so it's just, it's with the, yeah, with the minutes, it's a little delayed, but.
It's gotta be, you get your phone.
I don't know, it's something I was thinking, oh, what was that at that meeting? Some people.
Yeah.
So you can find the minutes, but that was all we.
And we still, since, I mean, that's the public facing stuff, and draft minutes.
Yeah, I know, I get those, but I have to look at them and delete them. So
Yeah.
I thought they'd be on here somewhere and I could find them.
That's not what an email would be more, it takes three. We're not making processes easier, we're making it more difficult.
Technology.
Staying, I think if you're good, there was.
It's a pet peeve to be one, nobody looks at things.
Let's say about bought out.
And realize that.
Forces on us to go, I can make that. It's and probably even less function.
And on that city plan meeting involved, represent some of our viewpoints.
Those meetings were pretty worthless, I think. We're not gonna get along with someone.
No, she just, and
She's.
just how we want to do it. What do you want us?
Yeah.
I had that in church. When I was in church. She was just.
That's what after the city county talked to Karen, I said, you guys can, you can go to stop, because she was against it. She said, I don't think so. That's,
Yeah.
that's what they said, that over from campus, you know, school.
Okay, that sounds good.
But keep them there, so they can, start scared away.
I was never those signs and.
Including, the one that, somebody's put signs on.
They still,
Some says,
yeah, I am too.
It's been
I think they pared down things offensively for maybe to play a little bit more defense, but.
Yeah, that makes it all right. It was-
Yeah.
You know how.
Nothing exciting.
But, yeah,
So. You know, so just that, just a little bit. And I felt like, all this scheme doesn't make. Period. We don't really have one. This is what we have places over there, like warnings that happen, risks.
Well,
And I realize they were still.
that's all doesn't seem to get complicated, I also want to see. Yeah,
But it's different than building this still, I don't know what's the plan here to be.
Especially if they see similar terms on people and defense.
well, you know, interdivision.
And that's fine.
And it's not full of great receivers and
Keep it all. Except then there's.
you may have years and there's
Two big months
get caught up.
First is good.
Yeah.
That's big.
Right.
That's what I said. I was like, sure. I'm gonna rezone that whole thing. Yeah, I said, that's destroyed the whole undergoal. I said, well, we had to keep it from the else's names. Oh, I mean, so it does make sense. to Keep them all in one spot, but now we're under one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more against.
I didn't sleep well at all last night.
Or is it supposed to be the check to listen, but that's what it gets to be.
It's just snowing tonight. Often on chances to rain. Yeah. I got sit down in the room, 50s at church.
Oh, really?
Yep. Been able to do that a few times already.
It's called science. I said, well, I need to go home.
That's from the college said it here. So that's, I mean, just not the whole place.
It's letting me say. They all read it to me, probably.
And I'll go over here and send that, find and see. It's sort of like a chamber. I'm gonna find things clear in box, yeah. They said they had made it, you guys Tom Phillips. He said he went and came up with this. Reorganized the everything was changed since that. Green bit of them.
Oh, they're putting up.
You got to look up all the works in the city.
Yeah.
They'll be there. Usually the King Fells. I think it's a commission that's with that staff. As you know, change insurance. It's not actually anything. It's good at extension. This is why I get not hoping I can move it. Rolling time, the young blood, you'll see who the vote for the insurance. Yeah. I listen to the.
It's more fiscal.
Yeah. Jim Lawson, he worked in the bigger, but the other side. As a couple, but I know that he took classes. I was trying to take one.
There's one second. Something about. Probably is sacred to me or something. It's weird.
But it's the same one. No.
No, of course
She came to Southern City. She came. Nobody came on. She got she did not over. That was
one of the swinging and young girls, well. Well, there's a lot of people. But this,
Get your. I'm not saying it was like, but I'm just saying, wow, I got. You don't. Josh was talking about the influence. So giant, what do you check? Actually, got the gas too. When he's out the world. The habitats was. Oh, yeah. Which other that is there? Really like, that's the influence. And it's
over off of Spain Drive, you know, we're going for, you know, they've been working on that for a while. So they'll have to go through the city and,
no rubber stand, but.
yeah.
But and They brought up that somebody wants to want to check on vacation. That's not just. I need to, that's how we begin. We have a problem making adjustments as well. Yeah, but that's what they have to now. HIV presentation and thing and you won't got that. We always think about that. You give me questions, but what's your opinion? So I'm asking, so yeah. I really hear all senior calls. I think so I'm going to get it.
Well,
Well, I see, my confidence can. I try to justify things. It's nuts. I don't know.
like 1:30 on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Okay. You ever find out where there was a meeting?
I don't know. They update that, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we. I don't have a base before, but it was some issues on that, about something, yeah. But you had a problem with the planning.
Still sending to all day on Jay.
Okay. I would just consider it. This is like, okay, so that's.
Yeah, and some fossils like that, you reset them and they end up getting behind the same amount every time.
Right.
And so they think they did try that. What bothers me is how they're not centered over each other. That's what bothers
Yeah.
me.
I don't want to speak to you.
Well, no, it's balance. You see, with the window up there and the.
No, it's sad.
Well, balance, yes, it is. You have to think about.
It's that weird little window.
Yeah, I know.
What room that is up there, but it's kind of.
It's kind of different.
Odd things. This doesn't go for an office building.
Right, sure. It's something where there's a bill stop, Casey, and it's still in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, it needs to move up a little bit. Better.
Yeah, I mean, over and
Yeah, it needs to be balanced out more. Well, would you run over here to the radio station?
Yeah.
I heard you this morning.
I get to cover countdown.
all right.
Yay.
Oh, who's on with you this morning?
Chris Slick.
Who? Chris Slick. No, actually, I just didn't recognize them. Didn't even say who it was, and I didn't recognize the voice.
He's usually on another station.
No,
I understand.
all right, Bob.
Fantastic. Good morning, folks. Uh, Brady Dow has made an application with Riley County Planning and Development requesting approval for a residential use designator for isolated home site and for an unplatted tract of land and to also plat that tract into a single lot. The subject property is generally located approximately 1,500 feet west of Country Road on the south side of Fairview Church Road in Grant Township. The subject property consists of a 9.3 acre portion of a 79 acre parent tract. The applicant wishes to build a non-agricultural residence. The applicant is seeking approval for the residential use designator rather than attempting to rezone the site. Due to the size of the proposed tract, plating is required. As you may have guessed, the site has been zoned agricultural since at least 1958, as all the properties surrounding the subject site. There are no special uses, no variances, no conditional uses that are associated with the subject property. Riley County Fire District Number 1 will serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Riley Fire Station, located at 327 North Main Street in the city of Riley. The property is located just outside of 5 road miles from a fire station. The subject site borders a first order stream to the south. The stream and corresponding riparian area is what isolates this portion from the rest of the main tract. As per section 6.3 of riparian buffer of the Riley County Land Development Regulations, all new development shall be required to provide a riparian buffer along any perennial, intermittent, or ephemeral stream. And interestingly, no part of the tract is located within a 1% annual chance floodplain. According to the most recent Flint Hills Joint Land Use Study, the subject site is located within the land use planning zone shown here in blue. Although officials from Fort Riley have not commented on this particular petition, they have reported in the past that according to Fort Riley's installation operational noise management plan of 2015, noise sensitive land uses such as housing, schools, medical facilities, churches, etc., are generally acceptable within the LPZ. This happens to be on the outer reaches of that buffer. And so the specific criteria for moving or approving a residential use designator for an isolated home site are listed in section 4.7 of the Riley County Land Development Regulations. And this was something that had to be approved by the planning board. There's quite a few of these criteria, conditions for approval. Let's go through these real quickly. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the site plan real quick. Can you see what's going on? A site plan is required with this. The site plan and the preliminary plat were able to be done on the same document. And this is the site plan. This is the combined preliminary plat and site plan illustrating the orientation and location of the lot's boundaries, the house and accessory building. The subject site directly abuts Fairview Church Road, a gravel 2-lane minor collector maintained by the county. A new entrance is being proposed with this request and must obtain an entrance permit from the county. The site plan shows the limitations of the site and includes a riparian buffer along the western and southern boundaries and an agricultural buffer along the western, southern, and eastern boundaries. The applicant is asking asked the planning board to allow for the reduction of the ag buffer along the western and southern boundaries from 200 feet to 125 feet. Due to the existing adequate buffer as described in the land development regulations. The positive regarding this buffer is that the applicant is purchasing the entire tree line and will be maintaining it as an adequate existing buffer. The applicant is also asking or asked the planning board to allow for the reduction of the ag buffer width on the eastern boundary from 200 to 100 feet as a 50-foot waterway frames the field to the east. the planning board did approve both of those requests. And just there's on the site plan, there's several notes on here that basically allow for things like for the planning and development to enforce on the property, the riparian area, the agricultural buffer, the accessory structures and things like that. This is the final plat of the property with no changes from the preliminary plat. Again, this shows the riparian buffer, the tree line is the thing that has to stay intact because that is what's defining this as an isolated home site, that in the creek. So on September 8th of this year, the Riley County Planning Board heard the request. Having no concerns, the planning board approved the request for a residential use designator isolated home site and approved the concurrent plat of Greater Dow Estates. Staff recommends that the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the approved final plat of Greater Dow Estates, accepting any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the plat. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to field those.
Is the rest of the, stuff over here, is that part of this Dallas state?
Now, what you see in the red and yet a white dashed line, that's that's it. What you see in blue is the notification area for the public hearing. 1,000-foot boundary.
Okay, but there's no agriculture associated with this home.
Well, the thing is, this is not changing zoning. It will remain agriculturally zoned. As far as the use, maybe, maybe not, but they're allowed to have agricultural uses on that site. It's just the residential portion of it is now going to be non-agriculturally related, technically. That's what the difference is between this and agricultural exemption for a residence. The surrounding farmland will continue to be cropped on both the east, south, and west sides of the property. And the residents will be, or the applicant, excuse me, will be required to sign an agricultural protection easement as well, and to record that with the final plat. Anytime that there's a residence out there that's not agriculturally related, they have to sign one of those. So. Okay, you have any questions?
Make a motion to sign resolution 092225, acknowledging the approved final plat of the Greater Dow Estates and accept any easements, right of ways, or licenses as to be shown on the final plat as it's been determined that the minimum requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations and Riley County Sanitary Code have been met.
I would second that.
Seconded. Sorry. Voted and seconded to approve resolution 092225, acknowledging the approved final plat of Greater Dow Estates. Accept any easements, right of way, or licenses shown to be dedicated on the final plat as it has been determined that the minimum requirements in Riley County Land Development Regulations, Riley Sanitary Code. All in favor?
All agree, please sign.
And we have a Mylar behind you guys. At your leisure.
I'm 15.
Second. I got holes in my idea.
They would match these colors to the units that have been shown as orange.
I think it's supposed to be red. The fire.
Oh, is that what it
That's the case, but this is just. This is showing that.
Keep moving.
That's the instruction. This is that, this, see, that was supposed to be red tip. Yeah, cities often that doesn't meet some regulations. It's.
It's not even on the show. What is that? Yeah, I was not.
No, it was like a sign rules.
Big states that would that pass? But we'd have to do it red.
Musician building, we don't have to. Yeah, so.
Be nice to do.
Actually, the pump that, but yeah, I was trying to figure some. So this is sense. But the. Oh, fire, say, you know.
Yeah, so people know that this is fire station on Cross Street.
Sign out. It's even now, 250, this is, yeah, so I need to change. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't.
At least all the big. And for. Yeah. Five on that, it's. Got right towards it, but take my shirt from some me. Because not all the picture.
They get all those windows finished around.
I didn't notice this morning, guys, because I know they had gone put it up, I imagine them on their clothes. I was imagine that about last night, this.
It's kind of weird when rain goes.
Good obviously when, it's, you know, it's light rain, so. But, there are leaks around the windows, I know some windows that took out on that. And there's kind of water in them.
That's why all the stores loose. Anyway.
Morning, yep, we're ready.
All right, well, good morning and thank you for making time for me today. We have quite a bit going on at Big Lakes. For admissions, we have made our last offers to fill our group homes. I think we have 4 offers out. And then at that point, we can't admit anymore unless we get more staffing. That's difficult. Currently, we have 147 staff with 90 openings, which is about 40 full-time equivalent openings. So people are working a lot of extra hours. And then we have property that we could build on, but I can't build a new home if I can't staff it. So the state waiting list for funding as of August 15th sits at 4,830. That's about 115 people in our 4 county catchment area that are currently on the waiting list for services. Now, KDADS is working really hard to get this new community support waiver, which is a waiver that would support people with that are not needing a whole lot of support. It kind of caps their funding for the year at 20,000 in order to serve them. I think that's a really good strategy, but I have a lot of concerns about that helping our situation because it's the same labor pool. It's still direct support professionals that would be supporting those people. So that could take staff from us in order to go over there, or we just don't have staff to do it either. So I have concerns on how that might work. We're struggling with our fleet aging. We recently purchased, we were trying to purchase a new express van, but what we've learned is that the program vehicles that we usually buy are coming harder and harder to get. So we purchased a new 15-passenger van, thinking this could help us kind of with some of the bus struggles that we have. Apparently insurance doesn't love 15-passenger vans, so that may not be a great thing moving forward. So that's going to continue to be a struggle for us, but we were able to purchase that with the money we raised from Grow Green. And we're looking to purchase another minivan in the next month or so with funds from that, a little support from our foundation. The Raise the Roof capital project, I reported last time that we had succeeded our goal. And in the next month, we have 2 kind of major updates that are happening from that with the new HVAC unit and replacing our main breaker. So one of the things I was going to say about transportation with the aging fleet, just in the past month, we've had to replace 2 engines, one in a bus and one in a van. So that's about $20,000 of maintenance that we're having to fit into the budget. Funding changes, that's really in flux right now. KDADS has put out a new assessment tool that we're working through. However, they have not come up with a permanent plan for financing that new mechanism. They have made kind of a Band-Aid in what they were calling a bridge rate. So anyone that doesn't have a current assessment will just come in at this new middle of the road rate, which is we're on a 5-tier system. It's right about the middle. But that expires June 30th, and there's no information as to what July 1st is going to look like. So it's making my budget process right now, planning next year's budget, really interesting. They also are wanting to unbundle day services now. I think I've reported before that they were looking into going to 7 different services. They are talking about 3 now. However, what those rates would be is unknown as well. So I'm currently working on 3 different budgets for planning in the next year. 82% of our budget comes from Medicaid. And with the federal cuts, we're also unsure on how that's going to affect us. So I'm sort of making a plan on policy change budget and a 10% estimated reduction in our funding. So it's definitely an interesting time. Lori's retirement came at a great time for me. But, and then the biggest push from KDADS right now is to resolve TCM conflict of interest, and that CMS is saying that it is a conflict for the case managers to be an employee of Big Lakes and be the case manager for the clients that we serve. Now, there's an exception that they're wanting to put into place that's the only qualified and willing provider. But that is if there is no other TCM in the area, then you have to look for a different provider. And it's only a 12-month exemption. And then if a new provider came into place, then you would be forced to move. So a way to look at that though, is that as a service provider, we're their home. And so you kind of have to choose this case manager who's helped you with all of your services, your behavior plans, all of those things, and choose between that person that you trust or your home. And that maybe you get the exemption, but it's temporary and you might have to get a case manager that's further out. They're even encouraging our CDOs are the ones that we're going to be turning this into without any extra funding and the administrative oversight of that. And they would have to look further out. Now, part of that argument is that only out of the 200 clients that we serve, only 5 of them maybe total drive. So being able to have access to their case manager is really concerning. I'm working on a policy alignment team with KDADS to try to come up with a solution that works, but obviously that's going to be a long and fun process. So do you have any other questions for me?
That's like challenging times.
Yeah. I think Lori said, I feel like I'm leaving you a bright shiny card. And he said, you are. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks for the.
Thanks. Yeah, press conference, 9:30.
All right, well, the Kansas Association of Counties, KAC, gives certificates for eight multiples of 8 years of service. Seems like an arbitrary number, but that's what they do. And we got several here in the county. First one's Angela Hobbs, the child care surveyor for Riley County. Thank you for 8 years. You bet. If you wait, we'll get a picture of everyone together when we're all done with these. Next one, Ramsey QB, trial assistant, administrative trial assistant. Don't believe they're here.
She wasn't able to because they have.
They're in court.
Yes, so let me get it for them.
The courts can take priority over this. Next one, Christy Lagaretta, dietitian, Riley County. Now we get to some larger ones here, 24 years. Brett Clark, Community Corrections. Thank you, thank you. And Amy Mangus, Register of Deeds. Have one more for 32 years. Nanny Mathis, operator. You don't see an operator in here today.
Yeah, that's me, no.
It's out on the road somewhere.
Yeah, you scared him, so he didn't want to come.
Was he one of those in here earlier?
No, he wouldn't come with them either. so-
No, he doesn't.
He's part of that group.
Oh, okay. And thank you for all these folks for all your long-term service for Riley County. And if everyone come up here, we'll get a picture. You guys. Yeah.
I have to have everybody kind of angle towards the. Your shoulders towards the. It's not really fitting straight on. Come out from the side. I think for him to like watching this on his back. Shoulders towards the middle. One, two, three. We're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. And one, two, three. One more for me. Yes. I know.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Barger, Riley County Clerk. Just wanted to announce the Riley County Clerk's Elections Division office will be closed on Wednesday, October 1st from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's when we conduct our mandatory election board worker training for all election workers for the upcoming November election. So just wanted to get that out there. Have any questions, please feel free to give the office a call. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Adams, EMS Director with my monthly update. First of all, we're back. As you recall, last week, Captain Castle and I left Wednesday at 11:30 to drive to just 40 miles south or 40 miles west of Pennsylvania. So 1,800 miles in 51 hours. So we got to new UTV. It looked good. There were a couple of things that I'm absolutely glad we went. The UTVs are not like what we have. They quit making the Polaris back in 2016. So this is a completely different vehicle. It's got multiple electrical systems. It's heavier duty. It's quite a bit different. So we spent a good couple hours there with them, kind of going through it and how to do the maintenance on it. And we got all the paperwork and everything. So I'm glad we went. Yeah, it was nothing like what we knew it was going to be different, but it was quite a bit different. So, but went without issue. Got up there, got it loaded, went through all the training. They took us for drives through it, showed us how the different systems work, loaded it up, and we came back. So, but it all went well. The vehicle's here. I'm going to get it insured today, trying to get things caught up on and such. But and then we'll get it signed and such. But we'll put it in service for the game this weekend. I think it'll be ready to go. It may not have signage on it, but that's okay. It has lights and sirens and everything, so it'll be good to go. So, okay, breakdown of service for the month of August. We had 464 calls for service, which is up a little bit. The weather was a little cooler at times throughout the month, and with students coming back and such. Breakdown of station call volume, nothing's really changed in the order. 170 for the headquarters station, 153 for the station 2 at 11th and Points, 31 at the Public Works, still down. It's only 38 because of the construction. And then the airport up 72 because they're getting more calls because, like I've said before, we've had to move our operations and our call districts around a little bit. And then Leonardville at 31, which is right on par for them. The rest of the calls, game days, we had a couple game days in there. Even though the weather was nice, we were very, very busy. which really we didn't see. We generally don't see that, but very, very busy. Lots of medical calls, significant medical calls. So, it just goes to show you never know. 6 o'clock kick, it was 70 degrees and we were I was the admin there. I went down, covered the on duty or the captain, the game day supervisor, to send them down to help out with crews in the first aid rooms. Even though we had extra staffing, it was that busy. I think the first home game, we transported 7 patients out, which is highly unusual for us. We can usually handle these patients inside the first aid rooms, but we couldn't. So very, very busy. But that's why we staff the way we staff and do the things that we do. So my staff, as always, they do a great job. I really appreciate how they handle these things and whether they're the staff at the game or whether they're staff on duty who are responding there to transport these patients. So we had a staff meeting with our medical director review on August 21st. Very good attendance at the staff meeting with good review and some protocol updates from our medical director and from Alex. As Elizabeth's been talking about some of the different trainings for leadership, we've done, our department has done some book clubs for several years. So we've jumped on board with this. So the NACO High Performance Academy, I took that 3, 4, 5 years ago. I really liked it. Josh is going to take it this year. So I think it's right up, it fits perfectly with what he does as a leader. And I think he will get a lot out of it. And then the highly effective managers or leaders program. So our shift captains are going to take that program as well. I think it bodes well with what they do and their interactions with their staff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure they are too. So they'll be kicking that off pretty soon, I believe. We're onboarding our new staff. I think our full-timer that we hired a few weeks ago, she took her protocol test on Saturday. So that'll get graded today. Then they'll go over all of her summaries, sit down and meet with her field training officer and then herself. And then my guess is she'll get released to work full-time sometime this week. And then our next full-time hiring, he starts the 29th. So we're looking forward to bringing that young man on as well. So event standbys have kicked off. Like I said, we've talked about that. We've also got soccer has kicked off, high school football, varsity, as well as junior varsity. So we are up and running and it's full steam ahead. So they're staying busy. We're getting through it. We'll get through it. It's busy now through January or so, February. But so you'll hear more about those. Elizabeth talked about the upward evaluations. So we reviewed those. I thought our staff were they took it seriously, which is what I asked them to do. We went down, Josh and I sat down and we looked at all the comments. I thought there were some things that I expected, some very good comments and then some areas for improvement. There were some both good and some areas of improvement that I didn't expect. Josh and I then made a synopsis for each one of the supervisors. And then we met with them and kind of went over those. So this is what we're seeing. This is what you're doing well. Here may be something that you didn't expect your staff wanted from you. And it was something simple like, you go on all the serious calls, all the high acuity ones, but come out on some of those low acuity ones with this as well. A lot of people don't want their boss around. We have staff who are saying, we want you around. We like seeing you on these calls and such. So that kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, quite frankly, but that was across the board. We'd like to see him on some of these lower acuity calls and just to be there and be a part of our team. So, all in all, went very well. I'm happy. I'm glad we did it. You stick your neck out a little bit when you do that, but that's how you learn. That's how you grow. And it was fantastic. I look forward to doing it again in year and a half, whenever we decide. So as I mentioned, our staff, we moved some staffing around on August 29th. they had the ability to have some input on that, which I think is kind of important for them. They didn't have all the input, but they had the ability to have some input. So they're up and running with that. So it's always good to move around different shifts to see how other supervisors do things, how other crews operate, not just the one way you've known for 10 years. So we continue to participate in mental health working groups and substance misuse working groups. Those have kind of slowed down a little bit. I think the mental health working group is a little busier. But I also have.
Transition is what I would say. I'm still trying to figure out the path forward, what that's going to look like. So.
Yep. So, but I'm doing my best to stay involved, but sometimes there's conflicts with some of those, but I can generally jump on via Zoom on those calls. We're continuing with observing field performance. Like I said, the staff want us. I actually want them out there a little more, which is fantastic. And then breakdown over the last month, we had 15 event standbys. So kind of laid out there for you. So education wise, advanced medical life support class is coming up here in a couple weeks. So we're looking forward to that. I know Alex has bought the books and such and is getting that ready. And then it's our biannual credentialing. So if you recall, the state mandates that all EMS services credential all of their staff, meaning that they sign off that they're competent to do what your protocols and what your department does. It's a fairly big task, but Alex and the supervisors, they get it done. It's 3 parts. There's a protocol test. So they have to be very good, I guess, at our protocols, and there's a pass-fail rate there. Then they have a general knowledge test that we buy from a company that puts out just general knowledge for whether it's an EMT, advanced EMT, or paramedic. And then they have to do hands-on skills. So, but the written test, the supervisors monitor those and take care of those, using groups of 2 at a time or 3 at a time, however they do it. But it's very serious, and we take it very seriously. And so it's also at times pretty high anxiety for our staff. I mean, they're being tested and such. So, but that is what's going on. We continue with the cardiac response guidelines, reviewing of metrics of our trends and protocol development, community outreach with car seat check lanes, and then the purple power play. So, and I know Josh signed up. He just got another one for today at the new Equine Center. It's some sort of a standby demo thing going on up there in a few weeks. So, but I think he's going to get up there and see it because they have a room for EMS and things like that. So,
at Bilbrey Center.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then breakdown of call volumes, responses. Big jump on Friday and Saturday, as you would expect. So I saw that like, holy cow, the weather wasn't horribly bad, and people throughout the area took advantage of that. So students are back, and yes. And the thing I noticed on by the hours is really the afternoons, late morning and then in the afternoons was busier, which tells us that there were more just citizens out and about. So, if we were just overwhelmed in the evening, I'd say that was students, but busy throughout the days like those tells us that the weather was decent and people were out and about more. So I think we had a couple of days. It's like the only thing they ran were falls. I think we had a day that ran like 12 or 13 falls in one day. It was just one of those things. I wish I could tell you why or when, but we're in the what if business because we just don't know. And there you go. The number one complaint was falls. Typically it's sick persons, but it was just one of those months. I really can't put my finger on it. I've looked at it. I've looked through some of the data, and there was no one precipitating factor that I could think of. You could see falls from snowy and icy or things like that, but we didn't obviously have that. So it's just you shrug your shoulders and you keep going forward. So do you have any questions for me?
You said that moving staff shifts again, they did, I guess,
Yep.
and now they move from station to station.
Yep.
Do the pairs switch to, or they?
No, not necessarily. Generally, it's person to person. And they look at, what we look at is trying to have strengths across all three shifts equally. So when you have some turnover like we've had, then you may have one shift that is pretty strong, has a lot of veteran members on it. Then you may have another shift that's doesn't have as many veterans. Then you've got to, you're with somebody for 24 hours. So you have to look at personalities. I mean, it could be tough, right? And so we also look at personalities and such to kind of move people around. We have staff who say, I've worked with Rich for 4 years, but I'd like to work with Commissioner Ford. I like to see how he does things. We have that as well, and you have to respect that. So it's a lot of moving parts. But no, generally partners, not necessarily, no. So there are some who want to move with their partner, but it's about the organization at that point. Okay, thank you.
Next week, you're gonna build.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. This morning, we're going to discuss the remodel of the old EMS station for emergency management fire. As we're at a point where designs finished, city reviews are being done, getting close to getting ready to start some remodel work, and wanted to present and get approval on the budget that we have. So on this page here, we're showing that total project budget is $3,102,852. That includes furniture and equipment and technology stuff that needs to go in there. The construction part of it for the remodel is at $2.8 million from BHS. That included some of the addendums we added to the project and some of the things we took off the project. There's also about a 4% contingencies built into that for any overruns, underruns, and anything left over we'll get back at the end of the project, similar to how the EMS station worked. What we're asking for today is to approve the budget to continue on the remodel. I will present, if you agreed with the budget, then I'll present you with the BHS's contract here. After Jacob and I both get a chance to review through that a little bit more. And I will send that in as business item for you to sign. That contract will just be the 2.8. The other stuff we'll do on our own. Russell's working with the furniture people for the furniture and then any other equipment that he has to put in there where he's got the tech items. Any questions about what we have here?
It's going to be a total of 2.8 or
Total project's 3.2, 3.1.
3.1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that includes the 2.8 for VHS.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That was too. And the permit fees and all that, we're going to handle.
That's built into the 2.8. Well, yeah, some of the other stuff we've picked up already. I don't think there's any building permit fee. The kitchen and equipment and FF&E, those are built into some of those, the equipment budget that we have up above. Microwave, a mini fridge, the type of stuff that's going into their break rooms and kitchenette for the EOC.
Oh, it's good and different. Looks good.
I guess I forgot about that. I added what the floor plan was to what we agreed to, what the floor plan looked like, and this schematic of what we should hope that the outside looks pretty close to that when we're done.
And that's going to be red rather than orange, right?
Yes,
Wait,
that could be just my printer. Hope it's just my printer.
What about where it says Raleigh County EMS on this picture? Doesn't it stand out very much? Just tell them that. And that was in here, it's hard to see that.
Yeah, there was talk about that, but we need to look at that.
Yeah, I think as they get, what do they call them? That loss, get a loss, will those submit what they intend to build for them, the architect will review and will approve those or not as they go. I'd imagine it looks similar to what kind of signage we have on the EMS station. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Good to get started on that.
They'd like to start as soon as we can get a signed contract to. So I know that what I'm doing the next day or two.
I would make a motion to approve the EM fire remodel project with the project budget as presented and to sign the contract amendment with VHS for a total of $2,824,076. Which goes into the total budget. $3,102,800.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the EM fire remodel project and project budget as presented and sign the contract amendment with VHS for $2,824,760. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Sean.
Morning, Charlotte. How are you? Good one.
Nice training room. To me.
TLC.
Yeah, say no. Yeah, here it says training, but
No, that's what I call it, because we were all the house, you'll see there's a big one.
yeah, look at that. Okay, we can go use that.
Huge things.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah. See, is that like a big to the back of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that building will be.
It's got concrete roof, I think, but it wasn't a design. Over design. Snow shells there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's part of it. He was the president of my center else. So I. Oh, sure. Just would say. Nice. It was not, I was not expecting. This was not much of a game. You just read this. Oh, so. That's already fire. Usually. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. That's what I talked about. You know, after the end of last year, the storm coming, the Phillips was only. Say the same thing different between the same. Say after it's all easily, it's full. They wanted to. I see lots of videos. Yeah. When they're watching out.
I'm just hoping. One of my teams improved, at least they got that.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
I was wondering. I would have best not.
I did as well. First half wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Second thing is it was a lot better.
Yeah, it's our second half of that.
Even the announcer was surprised. This looks like the Chiefs.
Well, I went to bed.
That is really good.
I watched the first half and I said, okay.
I'm glad to hear it.
Sunday night, I can't. So,
Thanks for getting those. Yeah. I feel.
yes, K-State's, I love them.
I don't feel.
It is.
Maybe.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Counting down the seconds.
All right. Well, probably took me longer to drive over here than this is going to take this morning, but that's okay. And I really, really thought that I had a good team. I mean, I still do have a good team, but yet again, here I am I did have a resignation last week for one of my front counter clerks. And so I'm just here today to ask for permission to go ahead and advertise and fill that position. Carol Summers did retire on September 12th, and we're not filling that position because we have closed driver's license. So I still need to have 8 full-time clerks at the counter in order to still handle all of the other motor vehicle work. So there's no negative impact to the budget since I'm just requesting a CSR for another CSR one. And so I'll stand for any questions that you might have.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the request to fill the customer service one position in the Nevada County Treasurer's Office.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the request to fill customer service representative 1 position in Raleigh County Treasurer's Office. All in favor?
Well, we've been signed.
Thank you very much, commissioners.
You can stick around for a while. You don't have to.
Actually, I'm busy today. But I hope you all have a great week.
You too.
You too.
Somebody this weekend asked me, said, well, about a position. Counties, I don't know if you know, but counties have, I said, yeah. I said, we have to prove, oh, you do? I said, yeah, I know. I might not remember all of them, but this one, it was the IT position. Somebody asked me about that. And I said, yeah. Kind of give them an idea of what it was. Good. No, but I can apply or not.
Gee, that recruiting we can do is always welcome.
Yes.
You know, they had interviews for that last week, and I think they had some. Should be good, thank you, man.
That home department thing, is that what they really?
Yes.
Because I got a thing saying, an email saying, or.
Okay.
About our application, have been selected for a finalist and we have until the Friday to revise.
Okay.
And I told Rich, he's on the top.
Okay, yeah. Peter called me on Thursday and said that that was probably gonna be the process. He wasn't for sure if Banner's gonna get it or you, but
It came
apparently you did.
Saturday.
They,
No, I guess the end of the day, Friday.
they had, obviously, when these grants come up, they had more, yeah, and then so they decided to go back with a handful of those counties and review them and kind of,
See if there's anything to revise.
yeah, shorten it up a little bit, but when they came to our request, they said they didn't want to do anything different with it or downsize it, so it should be as is.
Well, that's what I thought it was a man. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It was a man.
And we weren't for sure if they were going to send that letter to the person who signed it or Amanda that was on there, so.
And she came to me, so. Tomorrow. Yes, he's back.
Actually, can you send that email over to Rich so he can send it over to forward it over to me?
I
Please?
I didn't get it either.
Well, I can't send it to you. I sent it to Rich.
Okay, that worked.
I can do that.
I'm sorry, can't send
Yeah.
it.
All
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor. Just a couple updates here for the staff update. Particularly some of the projects I wanted to just give you an update on, of course, is our criminal nuisance abatement. I was able to tour a site on Friday last week and have noted it's one of our more prominent issues that we're dealing with, and there has been some significant progress made. And you can tell simply just by an aerial view comparison of that property. It's pretty major. So, really the goal of this Criminal Nuisance Abatement Act and going through this process, we haven't had a need to actually go through and utilize that bill specifically, but the threatened use of it, I think, has very clearly had some very positive impact so far. I plan on getting diversion agreements signed here real soon. I have one that I should be receiving today. And then another we're working out, potentially scheduling out what they would like to see as far as their timeline goes. And I'll bring that to you guys in a separate session. But things are moving in a pretty good way, surprisingly, or I shouldn't say surprisingly, but without much opposition, I should say. Another point I would like to bring up, do you guys have any questions about the criminal nuisance abatement or any of that, what's going on? Okay. Another point I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm aware of course, is the Riley County Fire District and the city of Riley, and their fire department, and starting to contract with the city of Riley for those
not necessarily services, but the equipment and leases out there. I'm going to start working on that here real soon. There's been a number of things I've had to work on beforehand, but that's certainly on the list to get done, hopefully this week sometime. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about the KAC Legislative Policy Committee. It's on September 24th, this Wednesday over there in Junction City. Myself and John plan on attending and providing Riley County's input on that as well. Any thoughts or questions as far as the KAC Policy Committee goes? Okay. Well, if there's any other specific project questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer them. Things are moving as they should. A lot of contract work is going through my office lately, more so than usual, but I suppose that's time. It's that time of year. So people are trying to get things probably wrapped up before the year ends. So. All right.
Okay. I'm sure the commission will be able to.
Yeah, that's a good, I mean, I think in the room that I was in, there was at least probably 25. Yeah. And then there was another committee. Yeah, at the meeting. And then there was yeah. And there was just counties, but it was also, there was some, affiliated organizations that. Specific. Yeah. So there were some representatives of those there and. Yeah, so it's pretty hard for the Homeland Commissioners Association too, so.
Yeah. Because we changed, took it off and everything, so we put the.
Game on Saturday.
And one of the further, this building and more. I think I know that one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, oh no.
Okay.
But.
Yeah.
Hey, probably.
Good. So she Russell should too. That's it.
You don't. About 15 minutes. It's a meeting call. Different, also just two different stuff. He talked to him. Well, this is the same thing. He is not. It's all the explaining us over them. Raised what they was. Yeah. I don't know. It's podcast, but like. Oh, I'm really ready to see. No, maybe the get I was going to get us, but so, it just doesn't seem to yeah, okay. As you can still get out of the
Yeah, and so just can't. Anyway, it was okay because people usually tell you. What's my first one around anybody knows that. Yeah, it's a couple people. I got nothing. You know, sort of between yourself and it's like you're a young guy, can't be honest. So it's frustrating. It's an empty. It's like, I mean, even big houses would be new house, like that's actually all that's really felt it was like, but not seen, it's got furniture. Yeah, yeah, you gotta keep stuff there. Lost some stuff in that closet, that's it, like, yeah, we expect that storage. There's some stuff we went through, but only things and then we thought you have a chance to look at it, any of that stuff, that's kind of reduced to the car. You know, sitting there now. You also had visual sign. And that decision, I'll get it together. Yeah, sure. Skinner. And she said, we know it's not yet. That's what we're planning on. I want to meet with them first, right? When you meet with them. We're gonna find that, but definitely. Okay. We'll probably do at least a day or two. It's good. We might try to see if we can move it up to 10, right? Just to do this for just saying, he's asking. Yeah, we can do that, so we might be up 10 to. That's so you can do that. Some with those, you're providing last week. I said, it was like, if I was parking my hourly rate. We're planning to do some more stuff next year. It's pretty good. Yeah, well, let me know if you have any questions. I know, hopefully they should make good sense. That's definitely, I mean, my dad's really right, but I think just make a couple of insurance striking. So that's might be a little just figured out, but appreciate it. That's not be so bad. So, really good. I just thought that. I mean, you out of gold. And that's because you first read this. Very thoughtful. I would take some sort of it's in front of this on this question to that. Next it is not inspector was about. All that is something you had seen 7 months, 3 months. The steps was pretty easy for working on that. Yeah, that's not less than things. You haven't felt seems actually that kitchen, which we didn't have basically that you said, I was going to this is not a motion, it's the they said some product you like you know some product fix it up so they find something yeah some of the stuff it seems to be kind of dishwasher we said a good second like they said 2012. So it's getting about one of the last year. So maybe it's the same model, but it was new last year. He said it's like you don't know what you're looking at in the other ways. And we still got that he followed paper. Get statue on yeah. And was the main suit line from the outside. And one expects you to send it's a full of way to about assessments. So that that is. It wasn't cheap enough, but yeah, we got a sketch. We got that was the other stuff was all fine. But I'm sure if they somebody must have someone who still finds something that they does not sense. People have for water system in the basin. Oh, you know, that big. I saw that I have but yeah, an issue for that. There's some words that's eventually we'll have my little slide. So yeah, that's what I hope it is. And our yards on it, we have that out.
Some slides to say, you're right, nothing is that. Really good floors upstairs, 3 years ago, 70 years. 3 bedrooms, and I previously, maybe asked already, yeah, I didn't have these, they did the hallway, but. It came, get rid of the back, we did this, we did this one, because it wasn't a good place to leave all. The price was a little higher, but it was no way we could, wouldn't have carried me downstairs, so that. Yeah, I bet it was downstairs, so. It's sort of like that upstairs. Yeah. We went straight to the. But they're pretty good. I like it. So, we're gonna have all our small stuff. So these are the furniture. Yeah, they could. I think if they did too old, that on because they use up friends. Try to get somebody else. Your college, you can be first set of college, if you have to call everybody over for bigger pizza. Yeah, it gets harder to hold your deal. Yeah. I think you do this, I need to follow. I used to, not all day singers, you don't. I feel like it's like my father-in-law, it's always something to do. Yes, and all, and it's like, just here at 70, and like, oh, but those drivers, they had to go to the. We'll see you around here. Well, let's see, I might see, I didn't see. Oh, this is. Same for site road. Of Missouri. I didn't know he was saying your name. Yeah, we went to see. We met in high school, dated for a little bit. Where you from there? So we get a space in it, wait on. Oh, okay. But you were talking about any departments and stuff, any president, or like, because I used to have. Okay, that's cool. Watch the road. Yeah, I sure did. Okay. Down, was very elementary, so I started middle, it's like opportunities, the conflict, all the way through, just kept seeing. Yeah, I guess all my kids are right. So, yeah. Reading, you live in Rosalie or I was in Tibet, I feel this. It was good. All the time, I was again, so I was at the appreciation of the I don't so people there. They were like this, I was here on some when I was there, but below that, now also it's we had to sit just down to such a comedy, it's not just. Obviously, that's we can say that that's I think should what we teach show them. So yeah, she was I guess still like yeah, it's my bottom of this one. That's so now you're just actually like yes, on the closer side, southwestern side of Topeka, so yeah, it's on the closer. I guess at least it's not makes sense to part of the meeting business. Yeah, I mean, I tell all those people when they ask, usually they'll just call them out those people. Oh, yeah, it's based on basic Topeka. Yeah. That's part of that, yeah. It's not a bad area, but I like more of the rural-ness that Manhattan has to do with. Yeah, so. Okay, I guess somebody like less than that. Yeah, right, so traffic in the city and yeah. Nothing against speaking. Yeah. Maybe don't.
Okay, had your head back. Said you had your head back like you were deep in thought.
No, I'm ready for a nap.
Well, we got some hours before you start.
You gotta wait.
4:45, so we can pray.
45 is cherry. Sounds less than amazing.
Maybe I need to sit on this more forceful. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because I'm trying to sit gently, so it won't, and that doesn't work. It's, My zone today.
It's
It's not, it's that one over there. Well, when the fan comes on, it's even worse.
Sometimes I notice it,
You're asking, huh?
No, and then right now it seems to be.
I've gotten used to it, but I really wasn't on my radar until she said something.
I'm not used to it.
Now I'm tired and.
Shut them off those boards. That's my sense.
That sounds like a Snickers commercial.
Still not used to this setup.
No worries about the time we need it will change again.
Feels, it's kind of what I'm thinking.
Looking close.
It will be closer. I don't want to complain, but man, I do miss that. Breeze down the stairs. Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Lewis, Riley County Community Corrections Director. I am here to report out just our staff report. Okay. So for the month of, and I have July on this, it should say August. For the month of August, we had 18 intakes, so we definitely have went up. I think I told you that last time that it definitely increased. We had 12 that returned to a parent or guardian, 4 that were placed with a family or relative, and then 2 that were released to the foster care system. For our IIP program, we currently have 34 participants in the month of August. 5 of those were required jurors. We had 1 volunteer, and then the remaining ones were participants for a total of 40. We still do not have any in Clay County. For intensive supervision, we had a total of 14 on supervision. That would be, we had 7 on intensive supervision, 4 in the correctional facility in Topeka, 1 on conditional release, and then 1 that's been courtesy souped out and 1 that is souped out to another state. For our adult supervision, we had 101. Let me see if I can move that over. Nope, that was July. We had 86 for the month of August. And then 1 that was in treatment, 21 in jail, unfortunately, during the month of August, for a total of 108. Recovery Court had 18 participants in August. 16 of those were through Riley County, 2 were through Clay County. And we did have a graduation in both counties. So we will not have another graduation until the month of November for Riley County, and Clay County is to be determined because there is just 1 participant left. So that will depend on that person's progress and participation in the program. We will close out our online auction through Purple Wave for our 2 vehicles that we have for sale on September 30th. And we had several bids, so that's exciting. We're glad that that's moving along. And then last week we attended the Kansas Specialty Court Supervision Conference in Salina. And it was a really good conference. A few things I wanted to just tell you about is you might be aware of this already. The state of Kansas set aside $1.5 million to use towards specialty courts. They have not determined how they're going to allocate that and what the application process will be. However,
And it's supposed to be for FY 26, which here we are. So I am watching that. I've sent several emails and made sure that our judges are aware to please pay attention to your email. I met with the state coordinator after the conference to ask her, how do we get informed about that so that we could potentially apply for those funds as well? So I just wanted to put that on your radar that could be an opportunity for funding for our specialty court program. In addition, another thing that the Kansas Department of Corrections has decided to do is provide us with an opportunity, if our district approves, to allow us to offer what's called the RePath program. It's an app that would be placed on our juveniles that are on supervision on their phone. So it helps us, they can check in with us. It's AI basically, but it's a way that we can help hold them accountable, but also reward them, praise them when they're doing what they're supposed to and following their conditions. So the Kansas Department of Corrections did a pilot program. They found that it was very successful. So we will be working to see if we can implement that here as well. We will have to get some approval from our chief judge, but that was new that we found out last week as well. And that is all I have for you today. Oh, I also wanted to update you, the Stepping Up initiative. I reached out to Audra Goldsmith to see if she could come and present, and she'll be getting a hold of Cindy to schedule a time where she can present to the commission about the program. So that would be my update for today. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
You said, I remember Josh, we were just talking after our meeting, said he had some stuff he wanted to come. And I told him to get on Cindy and she'd find me some space on schedule. Okay.
The presentation was kind of wild, wasn't it? Well, you have to sit right in front of it to see what we're all.
Oh, I saw, yeah.
Intergovernmental and Fishers.
Well, 11:30 actually. Food, yeah. I would make a motion to adjourn our meeting after the intergovernmental luncheon today.
Second. Been moved and seconded to adjourn the commission meeting after intergovernmental luncheon today. Favor?